ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदादतं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। Sri Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We are discussing the profound statement made by Sri Ramakrishna in the very first meeting with M, which is Sandhya merges into Gayatri and then Gayatri merges into Om. Sandhya Gayatri te loy hoy, abar Gayatri Omkare loy hoy. We are discussing the various meanings and significances of Omkara as described in the Upanishads. The Kathopanishad speaks about Omkara when Nishiketa asks a question. You have seen the truth, O Yama, my Acharya. Can you please describe that to me? Anyatra dharmad, anyatra dharmad, anyatra asmat krita kritat, anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha yattat pashyasi tadvada. That which you see, please tell me. What is that? That which is different from dharma, and that which is different from adharma, and that which is beyond present, past, and future, that is timeless. Please describe that to me. Then Yama says, Sarve Veda Yat Padamamananti Tapamsi Sarvani Cha Yad Vadanti Yadichanto Brahmacharyam Charanti Tatte Padam Sangrahena Bravimi Om Ityetat. I will tell you that very briefly, which is the essence of all the Vedas. Yas Chandasam Rishabho Vishwarupaha, Taittiriya Upanishad. Chandasam Rishabha, that is the essence, the king of all the Upanishads. Rishabha, the greatest, the chief. Vishwarupaha, all pervading. What is that? Om Ityetat. And says, Om is Parabrahman and it also Aparabrahman. Aparabrahman called the Hiranyagarbha, Saguna with qualities, may or may not be with the form, Sakara or Nirakara, but Saguna. And the Nirguna Brahma, Brahman without qualities, Parabrahman. Omkara represents both the Parabrahma as well as the Aparabrahma. It can be used as a pratika, symbol of Brahman, and it's also the Vachaka. The Vachya being Brahman, and the Vachaka, that by which the Vachya is designated is the Vachaka, which is Om. Yoga Sutra says, Tasya Vachaka Pranavaha. Pranava, Om, is the Vachaka of the Vachya, which is Brahman. Etadalambanam sreshtham, etadalambanam param, etadalambanam gyatva, brahmaloke mahiyate. This is the greatest support. This is the supreme support. And taking hold of the supreme support, one rejoices with infinite bliss in the Brahmaloka. Etadhyevaksharam brahma, etadhyevaksharam param, etadhyevaksharam gyatva, yo yadicchati tasya tat. This akshara, this letter Om, this is Brahman, Parabrahman, Aparabrahman. Knowing this Om, the significance of Om, one can realize whatever one wants, either the Supreme Brahman, Parabrahman, or the Aparabrahman. And the great commentator Shankaracharya says in the Bhashya on the Kathopanishad in this verse, Aparam ched praptavyam, param ched gyatavyam. If it is Parabrahman, it has to be known. If it is Aparabrahman, then it has to be attained. It has to be Praptavya, it has to be attained. Gyatavya, it has to be realized. Two kinds of Brahman are spoken about in Vedanta. Shankaracharya highlights as a Geya Brahman and Upasya Brahman. Upasya Brahman is that which is worshipped as other than yourself. And Geya Brahman is that which is realized as your own very self. And the Upanishadic Brahman is that which is realizable as identical with your own self. So the Upanishad often talks about Aupanishadam Brahma, that Brahman which is expounded in the Upanishad. Yajnavalkya is challenged in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad with other sages. Upanishadam Purusham Prachami, O Yajnavalkya, I am asking you about that Purusha which is expounded, enunciated in the Upanishad. Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam. In the Kena Upanishad Shanti Mantra, all this is Brahman. What kind of Brahman? Upanishadam Brahma. That Brahman which is spoken of in the Upanishad. And this Brahman which is spoken of in the Upanishads as Parabrahman and Aparabrahman. And the Parabrahman which is realizable as your own self, that is the essence of Om. Gayatri merges into Om, means the awakening of the Dhi which is mentioned in the Gayatri mantra, Dhiyo yo naf prachodayat. This awakening leads you to the realization of Om. This Dhi is the Vijnanamaya in Vedanta, and this corresponds to the Anahata Chakra in the Tantra, and that is the awakening of a Dhi in the Gayatri mantra. This is called Medha in the Vedas, the Medha Suktam. It's called Prajna, Ritambhara Prajna, Prajna Aloka, the light of Prajna in the Yoga Sutra. It's called a Buddhi Guha in the Vedanta, the cave of the heart, Dahara Akasha, Hridaya Akasha, Hrid Padma in the Yoga, and Hridaya Akasha in Vedanta. And this is called the heart in the Christian mysticism, the prayer of the heart. Early fathers of Philokalia talked about the prayer of the heart. The heart is the Hridaya, which is the Vijnanamaya. So all these realizations of people across the globe, whatever be the religious tradition, means this. Om Manipadme Hum. In the Buddhism, the Manipadma is the heart. That's the great mantra which they repeat in the Buddhistic tradition. So all the realizations of all the spiritual seekers and seers and saints and sages across religions is the heart center. The location and the discovery of the heart center is the greatest discovery in spiritual life. Somehow locate the heart and abide there. Abide in the heart. The spiritual heart, and from the spiritual heart we move on still farther, attain the cosmic spiritual heart which is called the Hiranyagarbha, the cosmic intelligence, the cosmic buddhi, Samashti Buddhyava Upahita Chaitanya, which is Saguna Brahman. From there move on to the Nirguna Brahman, the highest, by merging all the external senses into the internal, and merging all the senses into the mind, and merging the mind into the buddhi or the Vijnanamaya, and that merging into the cosmic Vijnanamaya, which is the Hiranyagarbha, and then on move to the highest, which is called Shanta Atman. Yached vang manasi pragya tadyached shanta atmani shanta atmani mahatini yached tadyached jnana atmani ज्ञानमात्मनि महतिनि यच्छेत् तद्यच्छेत् शांत आत्मनि यच्छेत् वांग मनसि प्राज्ञः तद्यच्छेत् ज्ञान आत्मनि ज्ञानात्मनि महतिनि यच्छेत् तद्यच्छेत् शांत आत्मनि. All the vak, etc., the indriya should be merged in the manas, manas in the buddhi, and the buddhi in the cosmic buddhi, which is the Hiranyagarbha, the Mahat, and that should be merged ultimately in the Supreme Brahman. And Omkara represents this Brahman. So by this one letter, repetition of this one letter, the Savana Manana Nididhyasana, and constantly getting merged our consciousness into the Om, one realizes the highest. This is the secret of spiritual realization as spoken of in the Upanishads. And the Upanishads clearly say for the sannyasis, for those who have completely renounced all worldly bondage and worldly ties, for them the only sadhana is repetition, contemplation, absorption in Om. They will not have any book with them, they will not chant anything, they will not do any upasana except just contemplating on Om and merging in Om. Shuddha Pranava. And this Om is described elaborately in that small Upanishad called the Mandukya Upanishad, consisting of just 12 mantras. It is the smallest and the greatest and the deepest and most profound. So much so, Gaudapada Acharya, Shankara's guru's guru. Shankaracharya's guru is Govinda Bhagavat Pada. Govinda Bhagavat Pada's guru is Gaudapada Acharya. Gaudapada Acharya is supposed to belong to the eastern part, the Bengal and others. He was an outstanding Advaitin, Ajatavadin. He wrote Mandukya Karika, verses on the Mandukya Upanishad, 12 verses, in 4 chapters, Prakarana. And Shankaracharya wrote commentaries, bhashyas, on the Upanishadic verses, the 12 of them, as well as on the Mandukya Karika. So this Upanishad is of great importance. So we will try to describe Omkara, which is the subject of our discussion now. Shandha Gayatri te loy hai, Gayatri abar Omkara loy hai. We will try to discuss this Omkara from the point of view of the Mandukya Upanishad. Mandukya Upanishad begins by saying a simple statement, Om ityetadaksharamidam sarvam. Idam sarvam, all this, the entire universe, is Om ityetadaksharam. The whole of the manifested world and the unmanifest is just Om. Then adds on, Tasya upavyakyanam. What is the upavyakyana? What is immediately to be understood from here? Bhutam bhavad bhavishyaditi sarvam omkara eva. Bhutam, the past, bhavad, the present, bhavishyad, the future. That means Om pervades all time and ultimately transcends time. Yacchanyat trikalathitam tadapyonkara eva. Trikalatita, that which transcends the trikala. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, the past, present and future, all of them is only Omkara. That means Omkara is both time and timelessness. This is very important to understand. Omkara has as its campus of definition, it encompasses the entire spectrum of time and timelessness, relative and absolute, immanent and transcendental, this world as well as the next world. That is the beauty of Om. Jagra Swapna Sushupti, which we experience in this world, and beyond that the Turiya Avastha, which is a transcendental Samadhi experience, beyond time, that's also Omkara. The gamut of experiences described by Omkara is a vast gamut of this and the next, relative and the absolute, manifested and the unmanifest, Saguna and Nirguna. Yachanyat trikalatidam tadapi Omkara eva. Bhutam bhavad bhavishyaditi, past, present and future, the whole of time, and also trikalatita, that which transcends time, is also Om. It's a very, very significant verse. So Omkara is the nearest sadhana for approaching Brahman. What is the nearest, easiest way to approach Brahman? Just doing the sadhana of Om. Chanting of Om, absorbing in Om, contemplating Om. That's why all the mantras in Hinduism will always begin with Om. Whatever be the tradition. That's why Swami Vivekananda once said, we should have a universal temple acceptable by all the sects of Hinduism as well as the other religions, where the only symbol will be Om, nothing else. Even the various religions also can be included in this, because the religions of the world describe either the transcendental, supreme, formless, qualityless Brahman, God, or they describe that which is with quality, Saguna, with form, etc. So the Om encompasses the entire spectrum. And Om is the name of Brahman. Just like if you call somebody by his name, he responds. In exactly the same way, if you say Om, Brahman immediately responds, did you call me? Aham is the name of the Atman. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Aham means this I, which is the Atman. And the Advaita Vedanta says, this I, Aham, is identical with Om, which is Brahman, as exemplified and taught in the Mahavakya, the great saying, Aham Brahmasmi. The first mantra, as we said, Om ityetadaksharam idam sarvam. Mark the equation. Idam sarvam Om. Then next mantra says, second mantra, Sarvam Hetad Brahma. So the first mantra, Idam Sarvam Om. Om is all this. Second mantra says, Sarvam Hetad Brahma. So Om equal to Idam Sarvam. Second mantra says, Idam Sarvam equal to Brahma. That means Om equal to Brahma. Then next statement in the second mantra, I am Atma Brahma. Om equals Idam Sarvam. Idam Sarvam is the same of Brahma, and the Atma is Brahma. So you have Om equal to Brahma, Atma equal to Brahma, idam sarvam equal to Om, idam sarvam equal to Atma, idam sarvam equal to Brahma. So it's a beautiful equation that you get, that the entire world of experiences, as well as the entire world beyond experience, all of them are completely subsumed in this one small letter called Om. Sarvam hi etad Brahma, ayam Atma Brahma. Sarvam hi etad Atma, Atma is Brahman, all this is Brahman, and Atman is Brahman, and that is Om. So you have an equation consisting of 4 limbs. Om equal to idam sarvam equal to Brahma equal to Atma. So you have 4, 2 at a time if you take, then you have Om equals idam sarvam, Om equal to Atma, Om equal to Brahman. Idam sarvam equal to Brahma, idam sarvam equal to Atma, idam sarvam equal to Om. And so, you have a very, very simple equation for spiritual life. All the complicated formulae and upasana, all that you leave out, simply if you want to realize the Atman, which is you, which is me, which is our own inner essence, one simple key to open the inner spiritual treasure of the Atman within is just Om. With the key of Om, you can just unlock, open the treasure within, which is Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Ananda Swarupa, your own higher self. Ever free, ever awakened, ever pure. Atman. Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa. Existence absolute, knowledge absolute, and bliss absolute. Just one small key, Om. Just touch. Nowadays, opening happens by just a touch. You have a touch, and in the Android phone, you put on pattern in order to open the phone. So you can have. So what it says is, sometimes you put the square, sometimes you put the cross. So Upanishad says, if you want to open this spiritual Android, which is your own higher self, on the top you write, touch Om, and it opens. You can try it out in the Android phone when I have it next. Om ityedadaksharam idam sarvam bhutam bhavad bhavishyaditi sarvam onkara eva sarvam hetad brahma ayam atma brahma. This Atman is Brahman. Now that which has been called Om, all this is only Brahman, which is Om. Earlier, Om is all this, past, present, and future. There's manifested relative world, idam sarvam. That Onkara is spoken of as the Vachaka. The Vachya being Brahman. The oneness of the Vachaka Vachya is shown by saying Omityedadidam sarvam. Vachaka and Vachya are identical. Nama Nami Abheda. The name by which you call an object and the object itself are identical. This is the significance in the Bhakti Shastras. In devotional practices, you chant the name of God. Name of God and God Himself are not different. Because the name is capable of revealing to you God. So you have great devotion to the name. You go on chanting the name itself, and the entire power and potency and the glory of God is hidden in this name. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in their famous stotra, hymn, Shikshashtakam, 8 verses on spiritual education. He says, O Lord, you have created innumerable names. And in each of these names you have poured yourself completely. Your power, your glory, your majesty, everything is hidden in this name. And you have not stipulated any specific time or place in which to chant this name. Any time, anywhere, in any condition. Sarvada, sarvatha, sarva avasthasu. You can chant this name. So much is your grace, O Prabhu. But such is my misfortune, my wretched condition of mind, that I have no devotion to your name. Ruchi. Name Ruchi is one very important condition in spiritual life. When you chant the name of God, you feel great joy. Just like, suppose you love somebody very deeply, the moment his or her name is uttered, you simply feel some thrill. His name, his form, his voice, the things which he used, everything thrills you. In exactly the same way, the moment God's name is uttered, you feel thrilled. We started with this. Remember, Jodi Harinam, Ram Nam, Uchcharan Matri যদি অশ্রুপাত হয়, রোমাঞ্চ হয়, তখন আর কাজ করতে হবে না। সন্ধ্যা গায়ত্রীতে লয় হয়, গায়ত্রী আবার ওঙ্কারে লয় হয়। The moment you chant the name of Hari or Ram even once, tears pour down from your eyes and this horripilation all over body, your hair stand on end, then you will know all work has completely dropped from you. All the work merges into Gayatri prayer and the awakening of the higher consciousness to the Jnanamaya, and that once again merges into Om. This is the experience of spiritual sadhakas. Because the name of God immediately kindles in you the image of God, the form of God, His glory, His power, His love, His infinite majesty, and you simply are drawn by it. In worldly love, we can see the moment you utter the name of your beloved, immediately there is so much of horripilation, the thrill, you feel transported. And then say in the case of God, 1,000,000 times more you will be transported. The moment Ramakrishna uttered the name of Hari Kali, he immediately got transported to a different world and lost himself in Samadhi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one moment, if he forgets God's name, you feel excruciating pain. You can't live without God in a moment. Nam namakari bahudha Nija sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamita smarane nakalaha etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaivami drishamihajani nanuragaha. I have no devotion to your name. That is my misfortune. So much of power you have put into that. So go on repeating God's name. 100,000 times you go on repeating. Not mechanically, but with great love. Because every utterance of God's name thrills you, transports you, elevates you, gives you so much of joy. So go on repeating His name. And this name is so pure, auspicious, and leads you to the highest. Brahma Gamayati. It leads you to Brahman. Swami Vivekananda therefore wrote in his hymn, the Aratrik hymn, Om Hrim Mritam Tvamachalo Gunajad Gunedyaha. In that he writes towards the end, Shnantam Shivam Suvimalam Tava Namanatha Krityam Karoti Kalusham Kuhakantakari. Kuhaka Antakari. Kuhaka means Maya. That which is an obstacle, illusion that covers you, covers the truth. Antakari, the Kuhaka, the Maya, delusion, is destroyed. By what? By your name. And Kalusham Krityam Karoti, that which appears to be sinful, bad, an obstacle, the entire thing is changed by the touch of the name. The whole thing becomes luminous and emancipates you to higher realms. Krityam karoti kalusham kuhakantakari shnantam shivam suvimalam tava namanatha. Hey Natha, O Lord, tava nama, your name. What is your name? Shnantam, ending in Shna. Rama Krishna, Shna Anta. Ending in Shna, your name, what does it do? Kalusham Krityam Karoti. A person who is wicked is immediately turned by the Midas touch of your name and becomes the purest of the pure. He becomes elevated, becomes a saint, he becomes a sage. What is the quality of your name? Shnantam, ending in Shna. Shivam Suvimalam. Shivam, auspicious. Suvimalam, extremely pure. You're so pure, so great, so majestic, so glorious. This name is Om. The moment Om you utter, you become purified. Therefore the Bhagavad Gita says, towards the end, Om Tat Sadida Nirdesho Brahmanas Trividha Smritaha. Brahman is described, thought of in three ways. Om Tat Sat. Om means Brahman, Tat means Brahman, Sat it means Brahman. So the magic formula which is very often used in Upasana, in the Puja, in Hinduism very commonly is Om Tat Sat. When you say Om Tat Sat and sprinkle some Ganges water or some water, the whole thing becomes purified. Om Tat Sat is the name of Brahman, Om is the name of Brahman, Tat is the name of Brahman, Sat is also Brahman, of which Om subsumes everything. The moment you say Om, Brahman responds. So the mantra, the greatest mantra for persons who are not inclined to meditating on form and name and quality and so on, they can simply think of Shuddha Pranava. It's called Shuddha Pranava. So, Sarvam Hetad Brahma, all this is Brahman. So, Pranava is Vachya, and having this Vachya, Vachaka Aikya is shown. Vachya is that which is designated Brahman. Vachaka is that which designates. Vachya is Nami. Vachaka is Nama. And Nama and Nami, Vachya and Vachaka are abhinna, identical. Omkara is the Vachaka, Tasya Vachaka Pranavaha. Now Vachya Vachaka Ekatva Bodha, the realization of Vachya and Vachaka if it takes place, then Vachya, Vachaka, both of them merge and Brahman is seen. So this is a very interesting process which the Upanishad teaches us. First go for Vachya, which is Brahman, which is describable through the Vachaka, Om. And when you chant Om, when you chant the mantra, remember that the mantra represents God Himself. We have been taught by the Gurus, when you chant the mantra and meditate in the form of the Ishtadevata, remember these are identical. Vachya, Vachaka are abhinna, non-different, identical. Then, when Vachya, Vachaka slowly is realized as abhinna, not imaginatively, not through thinking process, but actually when you realize this, both Vachya and Vachaka merge into one indivisible Satchidananda, which is Brahman. Both Vachya and Vachaka vanish. The name and the named, both of them merge into one, of which the name and named are two different manifestations. One indivisible Brahmavastu consciousness divides itself into name and named. Nama, Nami, Vachaka, Vachya. Word and the thing and the meaning. Vak and the artha of Vak. That's why the great statement made by Kalidasa at the beginning of Raghuvamsam, which is well known, Vagartha vivasamprakto Vagartha pratipatyaye Jagatah pitaro vande Parvati parameshvaro. Parvati and Parameshvara, Brahman and Shakti, are identical, like Vak and its Artha. So if you realize the Nama, Nami, Abhedatva, the non-difference or identity of Nama and Nami, Vachaka and Vachya, and both of them merging into each other, merge into that substance of which they are manifestations, and that substance designated by Om alone remains, which is Brahman. This is the process. Om ityedaksharam Brahma, sarvam etad Brahma, and ayamatma Brahma. What is the difference between saying it Brahman and Brahman Atman? These are two names which are used to describe the same substance. Atman is something which is here, nearby. Idam, etat, these words are used. And tat is that. Etat is this. That is Brahman, you call it God, you call it the Brahman and so on. You think that that is something which is far away from you. But the Atman which is nearest to you, that which you think is far away, tat, is the same as etat. Etadvaitat. Kathopanishad, many mantras, it repeatedly says this. In the 5th Valli, in the 6th Valli and so on. Etadvaitat. Nachiketa is asking about the Atman. Atma Tattva. Yama, the Acharya, is describing Brahman and says, Etadvaitat. That which he spoke about as Brahman is verily Etat. That is this. So, Etadvai Brahma, why it is mentioned this? Because Ayamatma Brahma. We do not emphasize that Brahman which is different from your own self. That Brahman which is away from you, which is different from you. No. We are asking about that Brahman which is your own self. which is the nearest of the nearest, the dearest of the dearest, which is just your own self. That is our real nature. This idea, even intellectually, if you think about it, transforms your life. Don't weep. Don't think I am small, I am tired, I am suffering. Nothing. You are that infinite self. Your mind and your body and all these various upadhis may trouble you, but ultimately you are that infinite self. Etad and tat are identical. Ayam Atma Brahma. Now, he is the Upanishadic Rishi, Mandika Upanishad, describes his Om from a different point of view with which you are very familiar. Remember that the Upanishad is not a metaphysical or a philosophical text. It does not describe any philosophy, any metaphysics or religion. It just analyzes critically, scientifically, a human being's daily experience and tries to find the meaning behind this experience. For example, the Kena Upanishad begins by saying, what is that by which the mind is able to think? What is the power that makes the eyes see, the ears hear, the mind think? Is it the eye which sees, or is there a power behind the eye which sees? Is the ear which hears, or is there a luminous being, the Devata, which is propelling these ears to see? Is the mind capable of thought, or is there any power behind this mind which is impelling this mind to think? Keneshidam padate preshidam manah, kena prana prathama praiti yukta, keneshidam vachamimam vadanti, chakshusrotram kaudevo yunakti. The first verse of the Kena Upanishad. Then the Upanishad Rishi discovers, after investigation, probing deep within, it is not the ear which sees, it hears, it is not the eye which sees, but it is the eye of the eye, ear of the ear, manas of the manas. What other language can it describe? Shrotrasya srotram manaso manoyad vachoha vacham savu pranasya pranaha chakshushas chakshurati muchyadhiraha pretyasmal lokadamrita bhavanti. A person who can realize the eye of the eye, the ear of the ear, the mind of the mind, such a person attains immortality, amrita bhavanti. So there is a power, a Shakti, a luminosity within which is responsible for the functioning of the mind and the senses. So he's analyzing our daily experience. So the Mandika Upanishad also analyzes what are the experiences you have in life. I am talking to you, all of you are listening from wherever you are. Technology makes it possible. We say we are awakened. We are in the waking state, talking, eating, drinking, gossiping, working. So this is called the waking state. Now, after some time, you become tired, you go to sleep. In the sleep, you have dreams. You dream dreams, all funny dreams you get. You, as it were, throw up some objects from within you. In the dream, there is no external object. All that you have is your own consciousness and thought, and your consciousness is capable of dividing itself into a subject and an object. Look at this very strange, interesting phenomenon. You have the capacity to play the creator. Just the creator creates all these objects. my consciousness, your consciousness, in dream is creating various objects and dealing with them. I create an elephant and ride on it. I create a car and go in it. I create food and eat it. So I create an object from out of myself, consciousness, and I, as the bhokta, as the enjoyer, I am able to experience it. This is dream state. And then I go into a state in which there is deep sleep, no dreams, no thoughts, no mind. Again I come back to the waking state. These are the three states which we constantly move in. Waking to dream, dream to deep sleep, and deep sleep back to the waking via dream. Very often many doctors say we don't sleep at all deeply. We are so much disturbed by dreams, even for a few seconds we don't have dreamless sleep. That's why when we get up we feel so tired, exhausted. You couldn't sleep well. That means your consciousness has not taken a break. In sleep there is consciousness, but it is not focused either outwardly and inwardly. Mandukya Upanishad in the 12 verses elaborately discusses this. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and the genius of the Rishi is to map this Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti Avastha onto the three syllables of Om, A, U, Ma. A and U merge into O and you have Ma. Om is Om. A represents the waking state. U represents the dream state. And Ma represents the dreamless, deep sleep state. O, Ma. The mapping. Why is it mapping necessary? To show that Om also covers your daily experience of waking, dream, and deep sleep. And what about the transcendental experience beyond this? It's called Amatra. O, A, U, Ma, all of them are Onkara. Trikalatita, beyond these three, is also Om. They say, when you chant the Om, Om. When you end the Ma, then there is Ama, there is matraless, measureless, something which lingers on, which is beyond Avuma, which is the Turiya, state of Turiya. They are trying to map on the daily experience within time-space and leads us on to the experience which is beyond space and time. A, U, Ma, respectively mapped on and corresponding to Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state, merging on to that which is beyond Avuma, therefore beyond time, beyond space, into the fourth state called Turiya. Turiya simply means fourth, Chaturtha. The state of Turiya is that in which the consciousness is neither inwardly focused as in dream state, outwardly focused as in deep, as in waking state, and totally unfocused as in deep sleep state. So, what is that state cannot be described. Mandukya Upanishad elaborately discusses it, and Shankara's Bhashya gives explanations on that. What is dream state, what is waking state, what is deep sleep state, and how all the three of them get merged into Turiya ultimately. So the Om is such a profound syllable which has been thoroughly discussed, analyzed, and made into a tool for practice of sadhana in everyday life. They are not theories. They are practically doable and realizable. Om Niranjanam Nityamanantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna